May we go on with what we were talking about the other day before yesterday morning. How difficult it is, we said, to face facts. Facts being that which is actually taking place now. The word actual, not the potential or the possible, but as in French, what is now, what's going on. And for most of us, it's very difficult to face that without any distortion or deviation or the division between the observer and the observed, the actual thing that's going on and the one who is watching that which is happening. That's what we came to in our talk the other day. Should we go on from there?
In relation to that, sir, you said something the other day, which I hope you'll go into a little bit more. You said thought is a deviation, which have many implications in seeing a fact.
Yes.
Thought is a deviation.
That's right. We said yes. We'll go into that presently. May we go on with this? Do most of us want to?
Yes.
Can we, each one of us, face the fact, the actual reaction, which we call fear? That's what we're discussing, the whole question of fear. Watching it without the interference of thought, which naturally distorts or moves away or deviates from that which is actually taking place. And is there the division between that which is happening psychologically, inwardly, and the one who is observing what is taking place? That's the question we must seriously go into, because where there is division between the observer and the observed, or the thinker and the thought, there must be conflict, there must be contradiction, there must be either control, suppression, or running away. The observer imposing what he thinks is right according to his values, his tradition, his conditioning. So we must really understand this question very carefully and deeply, whether there is such a division between the actual reaction that is going on within us when there is fear and the one who says, I am afraid, and so there is a separation from the entity or the thinker that says, I am different from the fear. Because if you see, this is a question which leads into rather complex things, which is, if the division exists, then the doer, the actor, the observer, the thinker can operate on that which he is observing. Then he can control, shape, alter. And that's what traditionally we have been doing. And we're asking now, is such a division between the observer and that which is actually going on, is it a reality? We have made it into a reality because it's become our tradition, our habit to divide. Me and they, not me, we and they, my belief and your belief, and so on, so on, so on. Now, is this an actual fact that which is happening, can it be observed without the observer, without the one who says, I can do something about it? Then if it can be done, then if we remove entirely and completely the whole question of conflict between this and that. I hope I'm making myself clear. Please don't listen to me. I'm nobody. But let us, each one of us, find out the truth of it.
How about the question, Krishnaji, that when something is happening, you actually can observe. You cannot observe. In other words, if I get up and I have an inclination to run down the road, or I have an inclination to hit someone, that inclination, if I observe it, is already happened after the observation is already after
That's
it happened.
it. It's already happened, and therefore there is the observer created. But as it is happening, which is the fact, that's what we are discussing, not after it has happened or before it will happen, but actually as it is happening. So if we are interested, if we are concerned with the question of struggle, conflict, then we must find out if it is at all possible to eliminate in life every sense of conflict in oneself, in one's relationship, and so on, so on. Is that possible? We say, I say it is possible only when the division between, psychologically, the division between the observer and that which is actually going on, when there is no such division, then you eliminate altogether conflict. When there is such division, the observer then can analyze that which is happening and go into the whole process of analysis and so on, which we won't go into for the moment. But if it is not, if there is no actual division, then that which is happening undergoes a radical transformation. That's all my point.
Sir, in that observation, would you define, or may we say that there is a certain degree of thought in that?
No.
But what is it?
You made a statement, just let's make it clear. When we observe, when there is division, then thought is in operation. Thought then can say, I will control it, I will run away from it, I will suppress it, I will analyze it, and go through all that process. When there is no observer who is the very essence of thought, which is the past, I don't know if you're following all this, then there is only actually what is happening. Can that actuality, the fact, be observed without the movement of thought? If the movement of thought takes place, then you are acting from the past and therefore distorting it, deviating it, run away from it, and so on, so on, so on. Full stop.
Can we describe that examination?
Beg pardon?
We need the qualities of thought out, which are from the past, which are value judgments, which are associations. If we could say that when the observer and observed are not separate, that those qualities are not present, then what is going on?
But then what? Find out. Don't ask me. I'll tell you. I mean, if we can discuss this, you see, not then. Don't. If you say what's then going on, then you're asking an abstract, hypothetical question.
No, I'm trying to find out if there is a quote thinking, not the one, the back.
There is no, according to me, I may be totally wrong, I may live in an illusion, etc., but I don't think so. When I say then there is no operation of thought at all. Then there is pure observation. Just a minute. And in that observation, the thing that which is being observed undergoes a change, a movement, a mutation.
No, I think you're wrong there. I think it's
Good.
not observation.
Huh?
I think there's pure happening,
What?
which is followed by observation. But the pureness is in the happening, not in the observing.
I don't follow this.
In other words, if I say to you, what do you see in
Just
this
a minute, sir.
room?
What is it you don't agree with?
I think that happening is the primary thing, and observing is something that follows behind.
I see. That is the happening at the moment of anger. There is no observer. Only the observer comes into operation, into function, a moment or a second later. That's obviously. Then the operator, the doer, the thinker, acts upon it. And then the whole problem of conflict arises. Now, can you observe that happening without the whole rigmarole of thought of coming into it?
Only if one is interested and not on the defensive against
What's
the
that?
fact.
What?
Only if one is really interested to see, not on the defensive against the fact at all.
I don't quite understand.
This happened to me following your last talk.
Not my thought. I won't, please,
No.
forgive me.
Sorry, I didn't make myself clear. I was accused of something, a fact, that I'd done something I should not have done.
And, no, you see, the moment you say I should not have done,
No, I was accused of something that they said I should not have done, you see. And I looked at that moment at what was being said. And it was true, what was being said. My relationship was with the truth of this observation.
sir, no, not my relationship with truth or, sir, I am angry, right? Suppose I'm angry. There is anger, not I'm angry. There is anger. Is there an observation of that feeling, that reaction, without the whole movement of thought coming into it? That's all my question.
For the most part, there isn't. Most of the time, there isn't. Most of the time, there is the anger and then the observer looking at that anger and thinking that it's separate. So, could we take a look at the process by which we move from that state of the observer being different from the observed to where the observer would be the observed? In other words, that's the observer being the observed is not the normal state, is not the normal frame of mind, is not the normal consciousness. So could we take a look at how that could come about?
Scott, would you consider for a moment observing that which is happening now, just to observe? Can you do it? can I observe my jealousy? Can one observe jealousy as it is taking place? Not say it's right or wrong or rationalize it, why should not be, but just to, as it arises, as a flower blooms, just to watch it.
When you ask, can I observe?
Not I.
There already is the division.
No, that's first order partly. I mean, that's a way of talking, which is, please, not I. All right, there is jealousy. Is it possible to observe that reaction, which is called jealousy, without the movement of thought?
In other words, can there be constant awareness?
No, I don't want to in otherness. You see, moment you go off into something, then it becomes what is awareness and so on, complicated.
So the moment you use the word observe it, can one observe it or whatever, there is a duality implied.
Or I've said that, so observer implies a duality, agree. But try it, Shankar, just a minute. You're jealous sometimes. Can you watch, what is your actual feeling now?
Bafflement.
Huh? Baffled, puzzle. Can you watch that puzzle, that state of the mind which is in puzzle? Just watch it. Not saying I must be clear what he's talking. Just watch it, see.
So there seems to be a physical resistance to that.
Huh?
There seems to be at some point a physical resistance to that watching.
Why? Is it physical? The gentleman says there is a certain resistance physically to watch. Because you are not comfortably seated? Or is it happening in the bus? Or when you're walking?
No,
Or are you saying there must be certain relaxation to observe?
No, that's not what I meant. Some disturbance that you feel in the body. See, a physical reaction
To?
to the watching.
Why should there be?
I don't know.
I'm asking, so why should there be a physical reaction to watching? Maybe, I don't know. Please, all of this is supposed to be a discussion in which each one of us takes part, not one or two and the rest keeps silent and listen.
Isn't it? Sorry. I was going to ask you actually, when you, for instance, I think you're saying that if you're looking at fear, just trying to watch it, you're saying there's a physical resistance. Is this what you're saying?
Not especially at fear.
Because I would have thought the reason is because you want an answer. The mind always seems to want an answer to a problem instead of just opening
I
out.
think that's exactly that. So when you start staying with something, at some point there's like a refusal, physical refusal. You feel in your body
We
something.
can't hear back here, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. It seemed that at some point, when you kind of started to stay with the fact, there is a physical refusal in your body to go along with that.
Because that refusal may be the result of strain. Just wait, don't say no. Or your body is not comfortable. Or there is a certain sense of resistance to the intensity of watching.
Perhaps, yes.
The physical resistance to watching intensely. Because perhaps is it that we're not used to watching anything intensely? The moon, the sky, the trees, whatever it is, to watch. Now, can we put the question differently? Apparently, this seems to be rather difficult, all this. Why should thought interfere with anything, psychologically?
Some Somehow or other time comes in.
And just a
In the
minute.
sense that there is the experience of jealousy, the immediate event seems to be, well, if I indulge the jealousy, what's the result of it?
All that's implied thinking, isn't it, sir? I'm asking, can I observe, is there an observation? The moon, without the interference of thought?
It is a state
Huh?
of mind.
Huh?
It's a state of mind, awareness.
No, don't, please, sir, don't introduce state of mind aware. I'm just asking, can you watch the moon without thought drawing a curtain across it?
Occasionally.
Yes?
Occasionally.
Huh?
Is the right word.
Occasionally.
Occasionally?
Occasionally.
All right. Can you watch a movement of cloud occasionally? Now, can you watch your reactions in the same way?
Yes.
Just,
Yes, this morning I have occasionally the experience of...
not you, sir. Just to watch something without any movement of thought.
It's a subjective experience inside oneself. Isn't that of necessity, a kind of thought?
What?
Because it's inside, it's not an outside thing that you can just look at and not indulge in thought about it.
Because it doesn't affect us.
When it's inside,
Unless we are
it's,
loony.
in a sense, an abstraction. It's going on in the mind.
So can there be an observation without abstraction? Put it 10 different ways.
Well, would it be called an observation?
Do I give up or do you give up?
There can be, and there sometimes is, but it's infrequent.
Sir, may I ask another question? Has it ever occurred to you that it's possible to live without any conflict?
That's totally different.
Huh?
That's totally different.
No, it is not. It's not.
I am not the moon.
No,
So there is
no,
division.
sir. I moved the same thing, which is, we live in conflict, right? Now I'm asking a question related to what previously we talked about, the conflict between me, the duality. I'm asking a question, is it possible to live, if you have ever asked yourself, without conflict? Have you? Between yourself, your wife, between yourself and somebody else, and conflict within yourself.
Yes, when one says, why should there be conflict? One is implying.
What's that?
When one says, why should there be conflict? One is implying that there must...
No, have you ever asked yourself,
Not until you suggested it the other day.
Yes.
huh?
Not until you suggested that it was possible the other day.
So I suggested it. All right. Have you found out that is possible or not possible?
It is possible.
Huh?
It is possible.
No. Then it is not. You're already saying if it is possible, then you have blocked it. Or if you say it's not possible, you have blocked it. But to find out whether it's possible to live without conflict implies the observer, there should be no division. Right? Oh,
No, I do not agree.
What don't you agree?
There is a division between me and the moon.
I know, moon side.
Yeah, you talked about the moon.
There's no conflict there.
No, there's no conflict, that's right. But there is division.
No,
Real
because
division.
the moon doesn't very much affect us, unless we are peculiar neurotically. Moon does affect that, but if we are not peculiar, I said it's easy to look, one may look at the moon intensely for some time, because it doesn't affect us deeply. But can I equally observe, can there be observation of our reaction without any shadow of thought? That's what we're discussing. From that arises whether it is possible to live a life without any sense of conflict. And conflict exists wherever there is division, right? Right, sir? The Jew, the Arab, the Dutch and the Malays and the English and so on, the division, national division, psychological division, religious division, and so on. Now, as long as there is a division in oneself, there must be conflict. That's obvious, sir, right? You agree, sir? Right. If you say so, how is one to eliminate that conflict? They have tried different ways. That is, identify yourself with God. God will save you. Abandon yourself to God, some principle, or surrender yourself to something greater. Forget yourself. We have tried all those various systems which we hope to eliminate this conflict, right? But it hasn't, right? So I'm asking a question, which is, as long as there is division in the observer and the observed, there must be conflict, because there is division, right? Now, is that division artificially created by thought, or is it actual? You follow my question? If it is actual, in a sense, which is not an illusion, not a fancy, if the division is actual, then I must live forever in conflict. One must live, right? If the division is not true, accurate, factual, then as there is no conflict, right, then the very thing which is being observed undergoes a change. I cannot put it more different.
Sir, what one is observing is often thought itself. So are you saying that the change comes about in thought itself?
Yes, sir. Can you observe, can thought, please, just listen for fun. Can thought observe itself? Huh?
We acknowledge thoughts going through our minds.
Not through our, just I'm asking a question, which is, is there an observation of thought by thought? Or can thought itself be conscious of its own movement? What? One thought can say, I'll watch the other thought moving, and so control it, shape it, and so on. But I'm asking a different question, which is, can thought be conscious of itself as a movement?
Are you saying that the whole of thought is what is conscious of thought, right?
What's up?
Are you saying that the whole of thought is conscious of thought, not one part of thought?
That's right. Whole thought.
I mean, yes, the essence of the whole of thought.
Of course.
And
Thought
how
is
do we- yes.
thought is the whole of thought.
Yes, but usually we say one part of thought is
Well,
conscious of
of course.
another.
You understood what, Doctor? One thought is part of the whole. So can thought, which is the whole, be aware of itself?
But that raises a problem. So you have said before that thought is always fragmentary.
Yes, sir. No. thought is fragmentary, right?
But not always.
Wait, can thought, which is fragmentary, can that thought be aware of itself?
But then that thought as a whole.
No, wait, particular thought. Let's leave the whole for the moment, because it's a little more complex. Can say you have a particular thought. Now, you have a particular thought, a thought. Can that a thought be conscious of itself? Not other thought is conscious of it.
So that thought doesn't move.
Huh?
That thought has to be conscious of itself, right? But if it moves, it cannot be conscious of itself. Now, it becomes another thought.
I don't quite follow this.
See, if you say the thought is to be conscious of itself,
I'm asking, sir, let's put it, leave out thought.
Yeah.
Can consciousness
yes.
be aware of itself? Consciousness being the whole content of its thought. I see, I don't want to bring in whole and all that.
Can any kind of consciousness be aware of itself, or must it be a particular kind of consciousness? In other words, could the kind of consciousness which...
Just a minute. You know what your consciousness is, do you?
No. Not fully, no. Most of the time I'm just caught up.
No,
Or
just
it's operating.
if you look up, please, just listen. Your consciousness is made up of its content, right? Right? The content is your jealousy, anxiety, fear, love, hate, sexual demands, the whole human endeavor, struggle, pain, pleasure, sorrow, death, and so on. The whole of that is made up of all these little parts, right?
Yes.
Now, can that consciousness be aware of itself? Or is that not possible?
And would you differentiate this from thought? This is something different.
No, I moved away for the moment.
I know, but you're stuck with this thought.
It must be, you're saying the whole of that whole consciousness must be aware of itself, no particular aspect of it.
Yes, put it that way if you like.
But what in the world could that mean?
What?
The whole of consciousness to be aware of its whole self. What does that mean?
I don't know. What does it mean to you?
There are two ways.
No, what does it mean to you?
To me, it
Don't
means,
ask me.
to me it means a confused entity looking at itself.
I give up. Huh?
I say, to me it means a confused entity looking at itself.
Krishnaji, can I just ask, isn't this a matter of seeing something, understanding something false which is going on in the mind, and that coming to an end, and then the possibility of something else? I mean, I can't, if I think now about being aware of my whole consciousness, and I make effort to be aware of my whole consciousness, I mean, that's just, that has no meaning.
We began by asking on Thursday morning, the day before yesterday, can we observe a fact, right? The fact, we mean by fact that which is actually taking place, not a second later or a minute later, but actually that which is going on, which is happening. Not happened and then observed, but the very happening itself, right? That's what we were discussing. Let's forget all that we have said. Now, that's all I'm asking. I put it in 10 different ways. So that is the central issue that we are trying to talk over together and find whether it's possible to look at, to observe that which is actually taking place. That's all.
Krishna Ji, can I just ask, would you say that it's simple to do this? Really, in essence, it's simple to do this. Would you just say it's a simple thing to do? Now, I'll listen to what you're saying, how I interpret it, what it looks like to me. A thought comes into the mind, that's all. There's the thought. That's the fact. There's no movement, no nothing.
No.
You're just aware of the fact.
There's more than that, sir. I'm just...
Is there more?
Could I ask, when you say observe what is actually happening now, at first it appears that what is happening takes time. You see, as one a thought comes in, another comes in. Is that what you are talking about when you say what is actually happening?
No, I'm lost with all this.
Can I...
Good, sir. Come in and join us.
What you're saying, that there must be a form of immediate apprehension in observation, which is then followed rapidly by thought, but which precedes thought.
That's right.
Then you apprehend a feeling, then you move away from that feeling by a thought.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Can you, as the Professor has pointed out, Miss Wilkin, can you apprehend that which is happening? It seems so extraordinarily difficult. Am I cuckoo or what?
I experience the fact that there's so much movement towards grabbing hold of what's happening. If something's happening, it's really happening.
Let me,
That's
sir,
really happening.
look. We have been envious, haven't we? Huh? Now wait a minute. You know what the feeling of it is? Is there an observation of that envy as it arises? Just to observe that which is happening, this called envy.
Can I put it a different way? What about, let's just start with the envy. Now, a real, living, actual event, envy, is before any observation. In other words, it really happens.
That's what Professor said, sir. That which is happening.
Right.
Now
And
can
stay with that.
That's what I stay with that.
No observing.
All right, I'll use another word. Stay with that.
Okay.
You bring time into it.
It's just being the feeling, isn't it?
Just feel it.
Just be the feeling.
Then you are reacting physically and psychologically to something that's later called envy. Is that right?
You're just a feeling, surely, you're just a feeling. And as soon as the thought
No,
comes
we
in, it's
began-
a like the feeling.
So we began by asking, we were talking about fear. Is there an observation of fear as it is happening? That's all. To put it very, very simply, after a lot of words.
Well, the funny thing is, as soon as I observe, it seems to go, it's hiding to me, it disappears.
Now, does it disappear so that it doesn't return ever?
I don't know.
Or is it something, because you are observing with attention and it goes? Wait, so it's only when there's inattention fear comes.
Yeah, very well.
I did it. Huh?
Yeah.
So, then what is that attention?
It's like space, isn't it?
Huh?
It's like space.
No, it's not like what we are saying. What is that attention?
Is it that you've simply taken the focus off the sensation of fear and onto and focusing on something called attention? Therefore, the fear diminishes. It's like looking at that wall and then looking at the other
No.
wall.
as the gentleman, as he pointed out, Maria, please, don't explain it away, just see what he said. He says, when I attend to that fear, it disappears. And we asked, does that fear return in another form? So doesn't that indicate, I'm just asking, that when there is a tension, fear is not?
Yeah.
Huh? So can I attend fear which is taking place with that attention? That's, you follow? So we are putting it 10 different
Can
ways.
I put it this way?
No, I want to stick to not your way.
I know, but if I'm confused, if I stick with my confusion, now the confusion may disappear, but I don't know any, I still don't know anything, I'm still in the same state.
No, I am confused. One is confused. And I watch, and I attend to that confusion. Look, attend. Give attention to that confusion. For the moment, it's not.
Right.
So I've learned something, which is, when there is attention, there is confusion is not.
Yeah, but didn't he put his finger on something important there, which is the fact that the way you say it, when there is attention, confusion is not. But equally, there is something there that is not thought. In other words, there's a new state.
That's all, sir.
Yeah, but that new state is where he thought. He wanted away from that.
What's that?
He said he was in a new state. When confusion
Not
was
he was in a new state.
Right, yes.
But sir, you asked, what is this attention? This most extraordinary thing, this attention, I don't know what it is. I can't find out. But I know it's an extraordinary thing. I do not know what it is.
We can go into that, sir. Can you, let me put the question differently. Can you, when there is fear, can you attend, is there an attention to of that fear, attention? That's all I'm asking, we're all discussing. When there is attention, will there be fear? So does attention contain or hold thought?
No.
Krishnaji, but it's implied in when you say, can there be attention there, that there is no movement of thought. So
You have to find this out, sir. That is, I'm asking, is there in that state of attention any movement of thought?
But it nearly seems to me that this attention doesn't belong to me. It's a non-physical or non...
It's not yours. That's
No.
all. That's not your. I agree. It's nobody's.
Krishnaji, what do these things, could we examine what this really means? Because here is the brain that is, say, feeling fear or whatever the emotion is. Now the attention comes about. What is going on in the brain? The brain is looking at...
Would you want to discuss that?
Yes, because...
Wait, Maria, please, for God's sake, go slowly. I don't know, you may be interested, but the others may not be interested. So I'm asking. When there is attention, she asks, what is going on in the brain? Don't you want to find out what goes on?
Yeah.
I would rather understand how attention comes about.
Wait,
rather
sir,
than
we'll
what is
come.
happening.
Gee, we can come to all this slowly, please.
Does this attention use the brain?
Is attention to be learnt, practiced, and repeated?
No. there
I
or not?
attend. There is an attention about something and that thing disappears. Then I say, by Joe, I've learned something, I'll attend. I'll keep on attending. I'll practice attention. Then it's nothing, then it's gone. Right? So, Maria asks, what is the quality or the state of the mind, the brain, that when there is total attention? Right, sir? Is it so? Are you interested in this?
It's very active, I think. It's
Huh?
highly active.
Huh?
The brain is highly active in that state of attention.
I don't know. We're going to inquire, sir. We're going to, don't let's state anything definite. What do you say, Dr. Verman, sir? You're all experts at this. What is the quality or the state of the brain when there's total attention?
Does the brain become quiet?
Huh?
Does the brain become quiet?
The brain, you suggest, becomes quiet. Wait, sir, wait. Does attention spring from quietness? Or your answer, you see, yours. No, don't, I don't know, we are inquiring on board.
So, the funny thing, as soon I have intention, why does everything disappear?
Sir, that's not the problem, sir, please. We're asking,
I want to look at it.
what is the state of your brain, the brain, when there is complete attention?
State of nearly nothing, quietness.
Why are you looking at me?
Given a general
Bird in the
overall-
cage?
Giving a general overall attention, or is it attending to something?
I want to find out, one wants to find out what attention means, and if there is such a thing as attention, what is happening to the brain? That's all our question, right? Right, sir? Pundits?
I think you must say that, the brain, people who do research on the brain don't really...
What's that?
The people who do research on the brain don't understand attention, and they admit it openly.
What? I don't quite...
I just said that the people who work on the brain do not understand what attention is, and they admit it. So
You see, are they working on the brain objectively, something over there, or the brain here?
well, they work objectively.
Then we'll have gone off to something else.
But children have attention naturally, don't they?
What?
As children.
I don't know about children. Don't bring in children. This is impossible to discuss. Don't you want to find out, sir, for yourself, what this attention is, and what is the quality of the brain, your brain, not objective brain under a microscope and operation and all the rest of it. What is the quality of it when you are totally attentive?
It doesn't produce
No,
anything.
don't say, please, sir, just, we haven't,
Don't we have the most evidence for inattention?
what?
I say we can look at inattention because we don't have attention.
All right, look at your inattention.
Okay.
Are we talking about a focused attention, in this case on inattention, if you like, or something? Or are we just talking about something without focus called attention?
Are you attending when one is speaking to you?
Yes.
I am speaking to you now.
Yes.
Are you attending?
Yes.
What do you mean by attending?
the attention is focused.
No, what do you mean? No, Maria, just listen carefully. Don't say attend, just listen. You are listening now to me, which means I hope you are attending. What do you mean by that word attending? Don't say focusing, just find out. Which means you are listening to what I have to say. You know, we both of us know English, therefore you are able to understand the the words, and you know the words are not the thing that he is trying to convey, right? So you are not caught in words, and you are listening with your ears, and also observing what is being said through your optical nerves, and so on, so on, so on. So your whole nervous, physical organism is alert, listening, watching, right? Would you call that attention? But keep simple, don't dwell. There are lots more I can add.
Well, that's just the rudimentary attention, seems to me.
Yeah. Just keep to one thing.
But in that is left out what to me is the whole
Emotion.
well, emotion,
What would you call?
the cerebral, whatever it is going on in my mind. My eyes are not important. I can pay as much attention if I close my eyes. But what is being said is registering in the brain, and some process.
You see, you are going off, you are doing something which it's impossible to talk about. I'm asking, when you listen totally, is there registration?
No.
No.
I cannot. One says yes, one says no, you say yes. Is there? Find out before you answer.
Is the first stage one of a positive, open-minded receptiveness?
Yes, sir.
This is the initial.
Yes. Open-minded, that's a rather difficult word. The open-minded generally means a mind that's like a sieve. Everything pours in, everything you want. But I'm asking something very simple, sir.
It seems that there's a sensory and sensation is vastly more aware. And then the words take a quite different face.
So I'm asking, do we attend to anything? Attend.
If we were attending now, we would understand you.
Not me.
Well, we would understand what is being said.
You would understand your own, you would understand what attention means, not what I mean by attention. Do you know what attention is? Maria says attention implies focusing. You are focusing on what I am saying, and therefore you think you are attending. I say that's not attending. I may be wrong, but I want you to question me out presently. That is, when I listen to you in attention, something that you are saying seriously, there is immediate, there is no registration, immediate understanding.
How can there be no registration?
Wait, find out what I've said.
I think perhaps our problem is that our thought is so quick. It comes in so quickly.
I know.
And in a way that seems to be the problem. And it's so quick. It's
Is it that we don't listen?
Yes, I think we always move away one step
Yeah,
from it.
wait a minute. Do you listen to the fact, to this statement? Just, I'm making a statement. Can you observe? Is there an observation of that which is actually taking place? That's the question. That's a statement. Do you listen to that? Or do you say, well, what does he mean by attention? What does he mean by fear? Just what does he mean by observing? So you're off.
Yes, that's what happens.
Whereas, can you listen to that statement and the impact of that statement, and in that attention, is there any registration at all? There is a verbal communication, you have understood each other, English. But is there the registration of the statement, the meaning of that statement, the effect of that statement in your observation, all the rest of it?
Are you implying to do something with what you've said? You've made a statement. Now, I've got to understand the statement.
No,
Not
no,
to understand it.
no. Wait, sir. I say to you, I love you. Do you say, wait, just a minute. Let me understand what you mean by it. You mean love, what, sexual? You don't go through all that circus.
No, but
No, I'm asking.
You said, can I observe something?
I'm asking something. No, I'm asking something. When a woman or a man comes up to you and says, I really love you, and he means it, not just some kind of trick to catch you or something like that. When there's a statement made like that, with full meaning, I really love you, do you go through all this mental process?
No.
I don't know, you may, probably you do.
Funny thing, at such a moment there is a complete...
No, sir, I'm asking, it's not what is taking place. I'm asking, if I may, I'm not being impatient, sir, but you're not answering my question. How do you listen to a man or a woman who tells you from his heart and means it, that he loves you? What takes place? Do you register that statement and remember it and say, yes, I remember you told me you loved me? You follow, sir? So I'm asking, in registration, in attention, is there any registration at all? In attention, when there is attention, there is already a focusing, but it's not the focusing of of concentration.
Does it help at all to draw a parallel between this giving out of attention and the giving out of love?
Aren't they both the same, sir?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Yes, aren't they both the same? When a man or a woman comes to you and says, I loved you, because he is so tremendously, you follow? And you say, yes, that's jolly nice, but tell me all about it.
I have much more interest in the lack of intention, because that's the problem.
What, sir?
I have more interest in the lack of intention, because that's the problem.
Lack of
intention.
lack of attention.
Because that's the problem.
No, that's not the problem.
It was my problem.
No, sir, it's not your problem. It's all our problem.
All right.
Krishnaji, could we say that when someone comes up and says very sincerely that they love you, could we say that there is an impact?
Yes, and then what?
Well, then how does this impact differ from a registration? In other words, this it has an effect. There is an impact of some kind.
Look, Scott, just listen to me. Would you listen to me for a minute, second? When I say to you, I really mean it, I love you, is there an impact?
Yes.
Is there? Or, tell me your own thing. What takes place?
There seems to be something that wants to exist in order to hold on to it.
Yes. So, you're not listening to what I'm saying. You're listening to your own reactions, your own responses. See how very nice of him. He's a nice man, he's a beautiful woman, I'm so glad. Huh? But you haven't received what he has told you.
No, I don't agree with you there. I think something has happened. Something actually happened. You say it, something happens, something is a carry forward. There's a million events have occurred.
That's right, sir. As Mr. Wilkins pointed out, attention may be love. And when there is attention and love, which is equals love, do you register? That's all. Now, most of us are inattentive, not attentive. Can you move inattention to attention? You follow? That's your question, sir. Can you make inattention, by some miracle, turn it into attention? Or be aware of not attention, that very awareness is attention. Capito?
Yes.
No, we are going off from every... You see how we refuse to face a fact. That's all I'm getting at. We refuse to face the fact that we are frightened. Frightened animals, or human beings, or lovely human beings. We are frightened. Can we look at that fear? Can we pay attention to that fear?
Well, to do that, I must be in step with fear to pay attention to it. And if one is in step, there's no step before, there's no step afterwards.
Sir, that's not... You know what fear is?
Yes.
Both physical and psychological. Can you observe that fear as it is taking place? That's all.
I'm always afraid when I'm not attentive.
So you're afraid of not being attentive. Now face that fear.
That's attention. Attention.
No, look at it. So don't say attention, look this, that. Just find out if you can look at that fear.
If I'm afraid of losing attention, I'm seeking the reward of attention. Surely.
Of course, then it's all gone. What are you going to say, sir?
Seems to me that what just happened here is there was a tension when you said what you said, and then somebody said there's a piece that they started trying to hold on to. And it seems to me that that's where the fear is. Right when you say, I love you, there are 1,000 things that happen, and right in there is the fear.
I don't quite follow.
There's fear in what happens when there is attention.
Look here, Dr. Steinberg, my question is very simple. I'm going to keep on persisting. You're all deviating from that question. Can you look at your fear? Stay with it. Stay with it in the sense, no thought deviating from that fact. The fact being that which is going on. That which is happening. The actual. The actual is the now. Can you watch it? Can you use the word focus, whatever, can you observe that thing without any movement, both physical and non-physical?
So, the difficulty is, as soon as I do that, it disappears.
Which means that we've been through that, sir. We've been through that. It disappears because you're attentive at that moment. Hmm?
Then what happens?
Huh?
Then what happens?
Then does that fear recur, come back? And then you say, I must be attentive, and it'll disappear. So you play this game. So you have learned a trick for the moment that being attentive to that thing, it disappears. You have learned that trick, so you practice that trick. But fear hasn't gone. Which means what? You have merely learned a trick, a mental trick. One wants to find out, if one is at all awake, intelligent, say, is it possible to be free of fear altogether? Not this superficial trick of attention and disappearance and coming back, and that's all too. I want to ask a much more serious, fundamental question, which is, can fear disappear altogether? Never to return. Otherwise, I'm playing games.
You automatically enter the field of desire, I think.
No, fear, I don't want to enter. Please, sir, stick to one word and then go into it. When you say desire, of course, desire has its fears. There are many forms of fears, desire, and so on. And we're talking fear at the very root of the fear, at its very root.
Suppose I say no.
Huh?
To me, the answer is no.
Then what will you do? Just live in fear?
I don't know what I'll do. I'll keep
But that's what you're doing when you say, I don't know.
That's a fact. I don't know.
So, no, when you say, I don't know, the thing goes on under you. Like you're on a bridge which says, I don't know, but the water of fear is flowing. Now can you stop that water of fear end?
Well, if presumably the fear cannot be stopped, well then we automatically accept it. I can't stop it. Let it go. And then that's when it disappears. But that is something we can't attain.
You see, you're talking of attainment, you're talking of stopping. I'm not. I say I want to understand the whole movement of fear, how it arises, what is its structure, nature, the whole works of fear. I can't stop it. Because
Okay.
who is the entity that's going to stop it?
Something different from fear.
Is it? You see, you just invent these things, so you don't. We've been through that. The entity that wants to stop
Yes.
it is part of fear. So he's playing a trick. He's mesmerized, living in an illusion. When I say, I'll stop fear.
So, being attentive 24 hours a day.
I never said that.
No, but I'm saying that. That will end the trick, because then it won't come back.
So be attentive the whole 24 hours.
But, so, isn't it related with being nothing? I mean, as you said...
It's nothing, do nothing. It's okay, you pick up a phrase out of its context and say do nothing. I didn't say...
No, because I think our fear are usually based on we have or we are something where we don't want to lose it, or something which we have a certain idea, or we have a certain comfort whereby we don't want to lose it, or some memory of pain which we don't want, we don't like it to happen.
Look, Tunke, this is my point. May I be repeat again? One is afraid. There is a great deal of fear in life, of many, many, many kinds. We are not dealing with the many kinds, but fear itself. Just a minute. And what is this fear? How does it come into being? Whether it's possible to end it, not I stop it, whether it's possible to end it. That's my whole question. How does it arise? What is the root from which it springs? Right? What is its beginning? I know what the ending is. Darkness, all the rest of the ugliness of fear. So I want to find, is it possible to find out the root of fear? Huh? What do you say is the root of fear?
Sense of identity.
Huh?
The sense of identity.
No, root, sir, root. Identity takes place when there is fear. Because I'm afraid to run, afraid of this thing, I must cling on to something which will get rid of it. I must, please, what is the beginning of fear?
Being inattentive.
No, don't use that. No.
So isn't it when you feel insecure in any way that fear...
Is it that the root of fear, the desire for security? The root of fear, find some absolute, indestructible security. And as there is no such thing, so you're back again. What is the beginning, the root, the source of fear?
Thought.
Huh?
Thought.
Who says it?
No.
What's that?
Thought, sir.
Now, have you found this out for yourself? Or are you repeating what this person has said? What do you say, sir?
I say that when you say to me something that I really listen to you, and there's an event that at that moment fear is born, and that's all I can say.
No, no. Look, sir.
There's an event.
No, don't call it event. just between two of us, talking casually or seriously, I said, look, Dr. Schoenberg, what is the beginning of it? Seems to be everyone has a child, the grown-up man and the dying man, and every human being has some kind of this tribulation, this movement, which we call fear. Both of us agree what it is. And I said, look, what is the beginning of it? Like a river. You know where it begins? The source. It gets wider and wider, or narrower and dies. But we are talking the river, which goes on. And I say, where does it begin?
Deception.
Huh?
Isn't it deception? Illusion.
Then is it from illusion? Illusion of what? Who has created this illusion? Who has created this deception? And that gentleman said, the real root of fear, the source, is thought.
Fear comes with time, the idea of time.
Huh?
My thought is time, that's where my fear.
No, it's a thought. Just hold on to it for a second. Is that so? I've stated many times, I may be wrong, but I've stated it, and I want to prove that I'm an idiot and I've lived in illusion, that the whole movement of fear comes from thought. Thought which says I must have security. Thought says I must be attached, otherwise I'm lost. Thought would say, where is their security? And invents, believes gods, Jesuses and Christs and the Buddhas, you follow? All that. So we say the root of fear is thought. Show it to me, sir.
Well, my sense of it is that you can say that to me, and that doesn't add 1 inch to my illumination of the fact that when you say to me, I love you.
No, you're not listening to this. No, you're not listening to it. It is as potential as I love you. It is as vital as the other, which is thought is the source of fear. Do you listen to it? No. You have all kinds of conclusions. That's all. I said I may be wrong. I want you to show me I'm wrong. Which means that you first must listen. And you can't listen if you say, well, sorry, I disagree with you. You're this, you're that, and you're off.
I think the only suggestion I have about your being wrong is that maybe that the thought, that it is lack of love which precedes the thought rather than the other way around.
All right. If it is the lack of love, then how am I to get it?
Well, that's a miracle. Sure.
No, I think there is. It's not a miracle. I won't say Jesus will save me. No, but mankind has not been saved by any Jesuses.
And I'm not suggesting the miracle is impossible, but it seems to me that you are suggesting that there is a possible miracle.
There is. But we don't capture it, we don't listen to it.
If it's really deep listening now, there's no fear, but the moment that it is less deep, I'm wondering what's happening.
No, my lady, that's not
fear
what.
comes in.
No, that's not. I'm saying the source of fear of every kind that human beings have is born from thought. Will you listen to that statement as you would listen when I say, I really love you? Because it's too simple. Your mind immediately says, no, that's too damn simple. It's not, it is much more complicated than that.
Actually, my mind says it's too complex.
Huh?
I say, if you want to know what I really, my mind actually says, that's too complex. I'm more interested in my fear.
Yes. So, no. I am interested to find out the source of it. Not the river that is flowing, the source.
So in the thought being the source, is implied behind that is the self-preservation.
I said that. Is it self-preservation? We said that. Self-preservation, all right. Is that the source of it? That is security. Physical security. Is it possible to have complete physical security? Never to be ill, never to go to the dentist. I have been there a dozen times. Never go to the dentist, doctors. The organism functioning healthily all the time, which is to have complete physical security. Is that possible?
That's what thought is trying to do, but thought fails. And
Thought says I must have, that's right, sir. Thought says that. We are pointing out something, sir. I want to find, perhaps, if you can tell me what the source of fear is, and I listen to you with great attention, because I really want to find out if fear can disappear totally from my whole thinking, living, acting. Then, you see, thought is the source of it. I listen to you. I don't dispute it. I don't say it's right or wrong. I'm going to find out. But first, I must listen to it without any abstraction. Then I see how extraordinary complex it is, and in the complexity of it, I may lose its simplicity. So, I see thought is the fear. Thought is fear. Thought is time. Thought is measure. I have lived, I've had no pain. Now I go to the dentist and I have pain. It has measurement. And therefore I'm frightened. And thought is time. Because tomorrow, I've had pain yesterday, and I hope to God tomorrow I won't have it. Time. Right? I'm afraid of death, which is, I'm living now, death may happen. Or I invite death and live with it. Life and death, I say all together. I can play all that kind of tricks, but it's still thought. Thought has invented all the churches, all the contents of the churches, the symbols, the Jesuses, the rituals, the dogmas, everything. And a Christian world, Jesus will save quotes. That I'm afraid of that. Jesus doesn't exist, good Lord, who is going to save me? You follow, sir? Thought has built the most marvelous cathedrals and the most absurd religious illusions inside it. So, show me, as we said, I may be totally wrong. Show me.
Well, it seems that thought combined with the instinct of
No,
rest-
show me if I'm wrong, okay?
Well, you can think of something else which
No, no,
just
I'm
maybe-
asking you a simple question, answer directly. If I'm wrong, I like to destroy what I think is true. It may not be true, but you may show me that I live in illusion, and I'm willing to examine it.
First I listen.
Or if this is true, why don't you take it?
Well, there is some way.
No, don't argue with this. Why don't you? If it is true, then you must, what is truth you also must take. If you want to find out the ending of fear.
And what is the source of animals' fear?
What, sir?
What is the source of animals' fear?
Not
Because
animals.
they don't think.
Please, sir, it may be thought, it may be they have their own instincts, their own. Don't enter into animals, please.
Well,
I think it's the truth that what you say. Now, so what is the next step?
What, sir?
I think what you say is the truth. So what is the next step?
Next step is, if that is the truth, and I say it is the truth, don't accept it, please. For God's sake, I'm not your guru, or your philosopher, or your analyzer. I say, that is the truth. Then, the whole question arises, can thought come to an end? Sorry, what? Crack.
no, to me it's not the truth.
Tunki, I'm asking, don't go off to something else, Tunki, oh boy.
Because when you question, when it is thought which brings fear, it is not, I mean, it's not fully so. I mean, it
What is not fully so?
Well, there are things which we don't like. I mean, say we don't want pain. It is not out of thought.
What?
There are things which we don't want, we don't like. Like
We don't, what?
we don't want, we don't like.
We don't like, and what?
Say pain, something painful, physical pain. It
Look,
is-
can you, you've been to dentist?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm also a great
Can you,
fear of that.
at that moment of pain, just remain with that pain? Not think about it and say, well, my God, tomorrow I'll just say yes. He's drilling, pulling, all the stuff that goes on. There, hold it, just. For the last 2 months I've done this. So just a minute, I'm asking you, Dr. Burma asked a question which you have, sir, they don't listen, they go on with their own ideas. Dr. Burma asks, if that is so, that is, thought is the source of all evil, fear, can that, then what's the next question? The next question is, this movement of time as thought and thought as movement of time, can that stop? Did you listen to that? Won't you ask that naturally that question? If thought is the very root of this fear, then can thought come to an end? Not how can I stop thinking? Now will you tell me the way or the method to end thought? But if you see the truth that thought is the root of this fear, all fear, then your next question would naturally be, healthy question, can this movement of thought as time as movement of thought, can this whole movement come to an end, unwind itself?
I find myself asking another question, which in a sense, question G is the other side of the coin. Maybe it's the same question. How does thought begin?
What?
How does thought
Oh, that's very simple, sir. What is the beginning of thought? I don't have to tell you, can watch yourself. The pleasant experience is registered, brain, unpleasant thing is registered. So all registration is the beginning of thought.
Yes, but they keep registering.
No, therefore you ask, is it possible to end registration?
Surely I only operating in the actual.
Huh?
If thought is always past or future, if you only operate in the actual, you're not actually beginning thought.
I haven't understood, sorry. What did she say, sir? What?
She was saying that thought is in the past and the future. So
It's time. I said it's time.
Yes, but if you're operating in the actual, you are operating without thought. But I think the problem is, well, for me the problem is that I am continually up against registration.
So we are asking first, sir, is that statement, the root of fear is thought, is that statement valid? You haven't found that out. Or am I imposing on you a statement which may be false, which may be inaccurate, and therefore illusory? So you're caught up in that illusion, if you accept. If you don't accept and say, look, is that so? Let's go into yourself, find out.
Shouldn't one distinguish between different types of fear, psychological fear and other types of fear which may be natural, like survival fears, or
Yes,
not
sir,
putting your hand in a fire and that kind of thing?
I said, fear. If virus comes tomorrow and hits me, all right, I'll take it. But to be afraid that it might. Dr. Steinberg, you have disagreed with it. I know if you agree with it, all your analytical structure collapses. Forgive me.
Disagreement.
No, forgive me. He's talking. He's going to say something.
I don't have anything to say.
What? Now, would you please? This is really important. I must stop now because I said we must stop at 1 o'clock. Now it's past 1. We'll continue tomorrow. But this is really important question. If fear comes from the very beginning of thought, which is the beginning of thought is registration. The registration is the memory collected through millennia, or the memory gathered in the last few days. From that arises thought. Then the whole question arises, is there a possibility of not registering psychological events?
Do you think it's possible, sir, that I register because my listening is focused?
No, no, Mr. Jenkins, please. I'm asking you questions. I haven't. You have to think about it. You can't just say yes or no. It is something a scientist puts forward. You don't say yes, right, wrong. No, I don't accept it. No, it's like he puts it out, and for you to study it, I say, look, you're wrong. You're nonsense. What you're saying is so absurd. I haven't said the whole of it. I've just stated one simple fact. As long as thought moves psychologically, there must be fear. That's the root of it. And thought is the whole movement of registration in the brain. So I'm asking a question, is it possible not to register psychologically anything?
That can only happen if you have understood.
No, sir, you can't, not if you have understood.
When?
When you have understood, no. Just see the truth of it. Either the truth or the falsehood. Then from truth you can argue, you can explain, it will always be true. But if it is false, it will equally be, your explanations will be false. I think we better start tomorrow, don't you?